I'm very honored to have my partner and the co-founder of Estimate AI Solutions, giving me her views and vision of how she set up the company and how she's going to change the industry. She's an incredible person who's very detailed, annoyingly precise, and I have the greatest honor and respect to have this interview with her. Sometimes you meet people in events or in circumstances that create opportunities for you. And I remember when we met last year in the US on one of the big events, it had lots of people. And to me, I mean, being one of the speakers, I talked to almost the 2,000 of them because they all wanted help and advice. But you specifically, when we talked over breakfast, and it's funny how we came to sit over breakfast. It was the only space available where you and the other partners were sitting. And we started talking about things and we chose the food. And I made my usual comments about how healthy the American diet is. But they first serve you like 10 pounds of potatoes for breakfast. And but they argue, but it's boiled. It's okay if you eat it, talk about carbohydrates. But it was interesting because I remember when we started talking and you explained to me your idea. I don't know if you remember your response, but the response was, I'm in. It didn't take me long, very quickly to understand exactly what you're doing. And it fascinated me that somebody with your knowledge can put the spin on it from the technology part, introducing AI, data analytics, and the whole concept of loss adjusting. And I loved the way the idea for the whole company came along, that we want to provide a solution to users and to customers that they're both very happy with, so that everybody can get things done accurately and quickly. So how did you come up with the whole idea about...
Well, I lived the problem. That's where the greatest ideas come from, is when you're living in that problem and you're like, oh my goodness, there has to be a better way of doing this. And going on that journey of all the new technology out there and learning about it and absorbing all of that, and then saying, how can I apply this to this problem that I'm having and I know this entire industry is having? And that's where the spark came from for everything.
But in your view, I've worked with or advised small companies, big companies, startups. Many startups fail because the vision of the founder is dull and dark, because they look at things short term without giving a solution that works for others.
Yeah.
Coming from an engineering background, I can understand engineers want to find solution for problems don't exist. Whereas in your situation, you found a problem that you lived.
Yes.
And you knew exactly what you needed. And you looked around and you did not find a solution.
Exactly.
So you created one.
That's what I
And
did.
to me, this is innovation.
Yes.
But how did you put the whole thing together? Because I've been involved in the process with you, and I've seen the progress from the over promising from the software development people, the over hours of everybody working very hard with a good intention, but not much direction. And this is typical of startups. I mean, I live that, and it's just fantastic what we're doing and the whole conversations we used to have. So if you look at you as a person, you with a specific background, you with a specific discipline, you as a woman in an industry that's dominated possibly by men.
Yes. 100%.
How did you put all these things together? And what did the role of the board or the advisors or the coaches help you with?
Yeah. So you can have an amazing idea and know how to get from A to Z on creating that idea, but not know everything. And nobody's going to know everything. So finding amazing people with those expertise and the knowledge, like yourself, and you came on board, you've given me so much help with learning along this journey. And I think every founder needs to not get their ego out of the way. You don't know everything. You need to find people and bring them on board with your vision who know more than you and have different expertise. And that's what's going to create a dynamic team.
Well, I've seen the progress to date. I mean, it's amazing, the progress to date. I'm not saying just because I sit on a board and I played a role in that, but I mean, I've seen, because I've worked with lots of startups, and I've seen the focus and dedication and the selective choice of the team that you have put together. You're very good at details and very good at what works and what doesn't, and you analyze very quickly. And I think this is an amazing characteristics for startups, because a lot of startup people have an idea, they think it's brilliant. No, you are very detailed on the requirement and the need, and we're putting it all together to make sure it fits immediately. And I mean, I know we went through the whole process of developing the product and the process and everything else. But you have this ability to dig deep, dive deep into details, which I respect and I appreciate.
Thank you.
And it's something I have not found in other founders, either because they hide the lack of knowledge and expertise by buzzwords and sound bites, which is annoying most of the time, or they don't admit that they need help.
I think that's a big part of it right there.
So if you were ever if you're in a startup situation, what would be the advice for people who are in a similar situation? I mean, without sounding possibly judgmental, but you're not young. You're a single parent. You have lots of responsibilities, both generations, up and down, and I know that personally, and I admire that. But you had the time to focus. What is not the secret, but what's the formula? There is no secret. It's just discipline.
Pretty much, you have to have your goal. And part of having a goal is all your baby steps to get to that goal. So it's not just the big picture. It's, okay, to get here, I've got to go to A, B, C, D, and celebrate those little wins along the way. I think a lot of people underestimate that motivation that you get to keep going by celebrating the little wins, like getting the contract with the largest estimate writing software company in the world before I'd even built anything. That was huge. I celebrated that. Finding a development team, finding team members. I celebrated every time somebody came on board, especially you. Yeah, I definitely celebrated that. And it's looking at the whole journey and celebrating your little wins. I think people just look at the end goal and they forget how to celebrate the little wins that keeps them motivated.
I mean, I've worked on strategy and acquisitions and mergers, and some of them are aggressive, some are friendly, but I always knew what the end game is. And from what I see, is that you had a clear idea of what the end game is. How did you finalize it? How did you fine tune it? That end game is.
The end result on where I want my company to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I knew that I wanted to help all of the people within the property claims insurance industry. I knew I wanted to help all the people with damaged homes. That's why I was a claims adjuster, because I wanted to help them. But if a process is broken, you don't just bury your head in the sand and accept it. You change it. And that's what keeps driving me.
So what's broken? What was broken with the process?
It's manual. It's a process that we've done for the last 50 years. And it's slow and it's archaic. It's inefficient and it's time consuming, along with, you have overpayments or missed payments, underpayments. And so then you're going back and redoing your work. We had to streamline that process, especially with all the innovation and technology out there. Why would the insurance industry want to stay back in the past?
But is that the only reason that people got frustrated with it? Or there are some steps in technology, for example, AI, that helped you get there and much faster in many ways?
Oh, yeah.
When we talk about AI, it's part of our life now. And I always say, if you don't understand it, you'll be out as soon as possible.
Definitely.
So learn about it, because if you don't, somebody else will probably use it and you'll become redundant.
Yes.
In many ways. And I think the timing with your frustration and your approach and your thinking and your knowledge, and having the platform that is still naive in many ways. I mean, AI is not developed yet. I mean,
right. It's
People use
growing.
it just to do games or a dancing carrot or whatever it
Yeah.
is. And I think it's way beyond that because it's a teachable technology, which is something. I mean, I remember we had the last board meeting in my university, and we're celebrating 200 years of the anniversary of the university. And my old university was established specifically during the Industrial Revolution. You know, they established the textile engineering, mechanical engineering, and now our president, who was great visionary, made a very, very profound statement that we're on the beginning of the new industrial revolution, which to me is the new AI revolution because it's in everywhere.
100%.
I mean, not just your business, we use it also in our clinics, in our diagnostics, and so on. How did that speed up the process, and how do you see the future of that developing?
Going into the future technologies and utilizing AI, which is where we're all going. We all know this, and it's either adapt or be left behind. But moving forward, we need to remember that AI is a tool, and it's there to help us eliminate those manual tasks that don't need to be done by a human anymore, but it does need that human oversight to make sure that everything's accurate.
But I mean, if you look at, I mean, oversight, we see movies where, you know, the guard falls asleep and disaster happens, for example. And I think oversight is very important. I mean, in my personal view about medicine, for example, specialities are going to be less needed and generalists are going to be more needed because they're the one that are the gatekeepers.
Yes.
I mean, I always quote this. I was explaining to a group of people I was training where the word governance comes from. In governance, in the old days, in the steam engines, they used to have a valve that, depending on the steam, it will govern the flow of steam and energy. And this is where the word governance came from, as far as I'm concerned as an engineer. And I think the role of individual is going to be on the governance side. My experience with governance in some cases went to the other extremes where we have to cater for everything, and if it doesn't work, then people criticize you. My understanding of what we're doing is you're providing a solution that will take us much faster and way beyond what is there. What do you say to your critics, but still you're taking jobs away from people?
We're not taking jobs away. You know, that's not the idea behind this. It's the idea behind this is a tool to assist those already doing that work, you know, and speeding up their process and helping them be more efficient and accurate at what they're doing. So it's not taking away from somebody, it's helping them. If I'm an adjuster and I'm working 80 hours a week because that's what it takes right now to get through 40 claims, and I can get through those 40 claims in 40 hours now, I get more time with my family. And the people that I'm helping, they get back in their homes faster. So how is that a negative thing? It's not replacing anybody, it's giving people back their lives.
But I mean, the way I see it, I mean, the way we're developing, when we're using more systems, more technology, it will definitely give us more time.
Yes.
And time is to me, is the most important thing in everybody's life because it's the same to everybody. Every human being has 24 hours during the day. Now, what are you going to do with it? Which raises the issue about balance in life.
Yes.
And balance in life, besides health and wellness, is also possibly training, is learning, is developing, is finding out more, expanding your perceived limitations that were imposed on us or we think they are there, and so on. So I see a lot of value in giving people more time
Yes.
to make things better, to learn. I mean, again, we can talk about what else can they do with the time. And I have lots of my views. They can learn music, they can do sports, they can eat differently, they can teach, they can help others, they can do anything you want. But if you look at your vision as a founder who came into the business at a later age, you're not a young 16-year-old app developer.
Thank God I'm not 16 anymore.
Absolutely. I mean, and you have children, and you have your vision, and you have other people that you're responsible for. But what would be a balance for you And what would be your view on how that balance should be constructed, knowing your age, your background, your commitments, and so on?
Yeah. If I was still an adjuster and I had Estimate AI solutions, I would be able to sit down and have dinner with my family every night. That was something that was really stressful on my children is, mom's over in her office working and missing dinner again. They'd pop in to say goodnight and I'd still be working. I'd like to tuck them in. So that's the type of time that I wanted back as an adjuster.
And this is the kind of product that I personally I'm interested. What am I giving back in being a stakeholder, an investor, or a guide or a coach on that? Because I believe there has to be more than just the numbers down there.
Yeah.
There has to be value that we create. And to me, value is not just financial. I mean, of course it is,
Oh,
because, if you're a billionaire, you can give away $1 billion for charity and help a lot of people.
yes.
But it's the satisfaction of making something better.
Yes.
It's the impact that you have on others socially and especially family. I mean, family to both of us is very important because we grew up in conservative families and we came from different backgrounds, but we share the same values and views, irrespective of
We do.
what we have been brought or told to. Because in principle, people should have that. I mean, good values are good values. They don't have a language or a label on them.
No.
And I can see the technology that is happening. People are afraid of it, but I think it has lots of advantages. It's like the mobile phones.
Yeah.
We thought, oh, we don't want to have them, and now everybody, you can't live without them, basically.
no.
Or to the point that we can't think on our own without them because we go and ask somebody, what do you think of this? And we're looking for likes, but that's a different issue altogether on the digital media and its effect on society and values. But I mean, I can see what you've done, and I'm just giving you my personal point, why I was interested in what you're doing.
Yes.
Because I could see that it can make the customers happy. They don't get frustrated waiting on phones and emails, and they don't have time.
Right.
They have some kind of a definitive, determined timeline that they can look forward to. Instead of waiting months and many emails and phone calls, they expect a response hopefully within days,
Yeah.
basically. It can take the person out of their stressful situation, give them time to learn other things. Because if their job possibly will change, then they can go and learn something else. The fact, in my view, that family time is a critical part of everybody's development, of every generation. And we used to have dinner with the 3 generations.
Yeah.
And I'd love to have that again. Of course, economically, things are changing.
Yeah.
So I think I can see an impact there that will help others. I don't know how I can define it. Well, I can, but I won't. But I can see a lot of value there. And this is why I liked working with you, Delilah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we live in a society of instant gratification, right? You don't look up in a book or a dictionary anymore, you Google it. And that's the direction everything's going. So, yeah, being able to give that time back to people, like you said, to learn or just to live. Go sit by the pool. Don't spend your entire summer at the desk working away. Go enjoy the sun. That's good for you. It's good for your mental health, your physical health, your emotional well-being. And that's the stressors that we need to alleviate from people with technology.
But how do no, let's make it more business and corporate wise.
Okay.
How do you see the development of the company going, and what will be your milestones in the process? I mean, when I advise company, I say, okay, what do you want to do with the company in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, and then I ask them the question, why is it 5 years' time and why is it 10 years' time? Different people have different expectations, but in when you get to a point and say, I've done it, and I've delivered value for many stakeholders, not just the shareholders, basically.
Right.
When will that be? And what will be your aim? And what do you do next?
My ultimate end goal aim is to transform the entire insurance industry and to make this the standard on how estimates are reviewed and updated, and the whole workflow for the adjuster, the contractors, water mitigation specialist. There's so many people within the property claims industry, and we all do the same work. I want this to be the new standard on the workflow. And that's when I'll be like, I've accomplished my goal.
I'm a strategist, and I always like to make more out of whatever people give me. So people say, if it's impossible to do, talk to Ziad about this. And my main driver, and when people say this cannot be done, basically, and I've created a lot of values in many companies, everywhere listed, private, and so on. The question is, now that you've created something based on innovation, and innovation to me is where else I can use it. Where do you see that developing into the whole insurance spectrum or claim spectrum? Because to me, these are two complementary things, but they're technically different sectors altogether. So how do you see the company growing into other areas and providing other services that will make life better? For example, medical claims, for medical accident claims, anything that you can think of. How do you see that developing, and why would it work?
Definitely. So before I went into property claims, I was a liability adjuster. So I was reviewing document after document, medical documents and statements, because a lot of times you're taking somebody else's work and then you're re-reviewing it and things like that. Utilizing the same type of technology that I've created for property claims could easily transition into that, where it's identifying duplicates and it's identifying, things that don't quite match up. However we want to do it, that would ease a liability adjuster's job and workflow to make sure that what they're doing is accurate as well. Because if somebody slips and falls at a grocery store and they go to the doctor and then there's piles and piles of medical documents that you have to go through and you're not a medical specialist, that you should be able to just quickly type in and be like, hey, what does this mean right here? And then put your notes together so that way you're accurately evaluating the liability and that person's injury.
One of the things that we discussed earlier was your system is self-learning. And this is the beauty of AI, that we can teach it how to follow up and remind us, by the way, you forgot this, which I love about this. Imagine you have somebody who's on, behind your shoulders, reading everything you do and nicely, and says, look at that, Mr. Whatever, or Miss. So how do you see your system developing, and how will it evolve over time? I mean, what's your vision?
Well, yeah, it's not going to just stop at what I've created right now. It has to evolve and grow just like technology does. And whatever we can bring in to ease the adjuster's job, all the better. And that's what I would like to do, is keep getting that feedback from my users saying, hey, you know what? I would really love it if it did this. And I'd be like, great idea. Let's go make that happen.
I just want to finish this very interesting exchange of ideas and views. I want to go to the origin of the word loss adjuster. What does it mean to people? To me, it means it has two connotations. One, I'm going to really nail you down and not pay you very well. I'm going to use
This is what everybody thinks.
Yeah. And one is, no, I have to be fair and correct.
Yes.
And fair and correct have to be based on facts, like everything else. We need to make the emotional part of, or the personal judgment. I'll give you one example. We had an incident in one of the family's homes in London, and the loss adjuster could not appreciate the value of the very expensive carpets we had, because they were all important. Because they went into a place in London, it says, but I can replace them at that price.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if they're the real ones. Well, if you have a carpet, you have a carpet. In those days, you didn't have Chinese machines to produce carpets or whatever it is. So to me, loss adjusters is making it fair, making it right, make it financially rewarding, and making it worth my investment in the premium I took in the first place.
Exactly.
But how do you see it long term, from an ecosystem point of view, from a social point of view, from a financial point of view, from even writing the regulators and the laws and so on? The way I see it, anything that things that works should be even taught in schools or institutions or be part of your license. The same way now, we don't do just, I mean, 50 years ago, can you drive? Can you see the signs? And now you have to do a theoretical test before they even give you the practical test. And I think introducing similar solutions to what you have as part of the curriculum of the regulator's requirement or whatever it is
Yes.
will add a lot of value because people use it. I mean, in my days, we used to use spreadsheets. Now, everything is based on a spreadsheet, basically. But I mean, this is the case. So, how do you see your system developing? And how do you see it helping regulators and standard setters in taking it to the next level to reduce waste, to reduce loss, to reduce fraud, and to reduce time and give the users more value?
Right. Well, I'm really hoping it'll change the general public's view on adjusters. Like you said, everybody's like, oh, they're out to get you, but we're not. Our focus really is just helping you and making sure we're following all the rules and regulations, what your policy allows us to do. There's so many different factors that you have to take into consideration when you're an adjuster. And you have to make sure that you are following every single federal and state and county guideline. And if we're able to instantly input that information in for an adjuster, oh my goodness, game changer. Because some adjusters are just local, but most of us now, because of 2020 and what happened, most of us going to the desk, we're national adjusters. So I was licensed in almost every single state, and every single state has different rules, regulations, timelines on when to get things out. Same with counties as well. Never have a property claim in Lake Tahoe. Oy, that's a lot. But, the more information we can put at people's fingertips, the more accurate and efficient they're going to be. And then we get the technology to do that heavy lifting.
All this is amazing, fantastic. This is the future of claims. But if I'm a user, how do I try it? How do I contact you? What do I do? What is the next step?
Yeah, so we have our website, estimateai.solutions, and on there you can see all three of our different products out there. So I wanted to make sure that we had something available for every type of user within the property claims industry. It gives you information, and then you can contact us so that way you can meet with one of our sales reps. They ask you questions so that way we fit the right tool to you.
So if I don't know which type of user will I be,
Yeah.
could you explain to me what these types are and when do I go from one to the other possibly? How do you do that?
Yeah, so we have our unintegrated version, which is a standalone, and that helps the adjuster identify those documents and the line items instantly that are discrepancies between the two. So it's just dropping in a PDF and a PDF, and then you're creating a new document with all your changes highlighted and your note, so that way you can save that and go back to your own time. That's not integrated with any type of estimate writing software for those small users that may not be using estimate writing software or using Verisk. So we are integrated with them. And so those are the large users that 85% worldwide, everybody uses the Xactware products to write estimates. So being integrated with them, we have that version. And then you discuss with our salesperson, which one would fit your needs better. Are you using Xactware? Then that one would probably work better for you. If you're not, then the unintegrated version. And then we have the QA tool that is coming out very soon. I'm very excited about that one. And so we would be more than happy to show people what that one does and let you decide which one fits your needs the best.
And how is it different than what is it? I mean, I know whenever you have product, you have development. So what is so exciting about the second development that we're talking about?
Oh, the QA tool. So another huge funnel that slows down the process of insureds getting their homes fixed is the independent adjusters. They go out, they inspect the homes initially for all of the large insurance carriers. Well, they're not doing it just for one insurance carrier. They're doing it sometimes for hundreds of them. And so those independent adjusters have to send their estimates then into a quality assurance person who follows all the rules that each insurance company sets in place. They're all different. And you have to follow that. So now we're giving them a tool that instantly reviews those estimates based upon the rule sets that are set for that insurance company. And it says, hey, this person missed XYZ. They can instantly see what it's supposed to be, why it's wrong, and send it back to that independent adjuster to quickly make those changes. This used to be a process that sometimes during a large loss can take up to like 3 weeks just to get that initial estimate out to the insured, where now they can get through one in 5 minutes versus a few hours.
One of the things also, because we faced in one of our projects in Europe because of the floods recently, and I understand that your system can even integrate files, video files or photos or other possibly elements that you can add to it in the future. How is that developing?
Yeah, no, we'd love to go that direction, but we're seamlessly integrated with Verisk right now. They're already a global leader. They have hundreds of millions of users worldwide. And so they're already addressing a lot of those issues for people. And then we can add our product right in there. So it's nothing that's like another platform, another app that a user has to learn. They're already using the system.
But how fussy or how difficult Verisk to be part of what we do? I mean, are they very hard on due diligence? Why would they accept this? What is so special about this, considering there are so many companies that claim what we claim?
Yeah, and we're the only ones that are integrated with them. So,
And how significant is that?
oh, that's huge because Verisk is the status quo. And so their standards for your technology, for your security of your technology is above everybody else because they are the best out there. And they want all of their integrated partners to be the best as well.
Fantastic. Any final word from you? Words of wisdom, experience that you can give budding entrepreneurs, women leaders, a mother with children who wants to start their own business or continue her education?
Yeah. Oh, so many words of wisdom I'd love to share. Mostly, I've just been absorbing from those who know more about everything than me. That has been the best part of this journey, is all the learning that I've been doing and knowing that my end goal is going to help so many people. So go for it. Start your business. You have a great idea. You're solving a problem. You know you're going to be helping people, and that's what you want to do. Go for it. For single mothers or female entrepreneurs, that may be single themselves, don't let the status quo scare you from it. You can do it. Women are dominating the world right now. So just go for it. That's my best advice.
Thank you.
Thank you.